This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, Rehabilitation Hospital of New England. North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree. And Leo Inc., your local community action agency.
Good morning and welcome to LCTV News. I'm Danny Vittori, and as we enter the second half of this month, a variety of activities, from dedications to walks, took place all across the city. The newly opened Recovery Exchange took center stage on the Lowdown as leadership expressed the importance of community and support during the journey of recovery. Here's the news for Friday, October 20th, 2023. The Food Security Task Force will soon be replaced by the Food Policy Council with two main responsibilities. First, providing programming and policy recommendations to the council and opening up more avenues to state and federal funding. The City Council voted to create this council unanimously during their October 10th meeting. About 20% of households in Lynn struggle with food insecurity, despite efforts by the city to create better food security programs. Adapting this new council shows the state that the municipality is taking the issue of food security and food as a social detriment to health seriously, according to Public Health Coordinator Norris Guskup. The goal is to take a more proactive approach and keep food justice as a top priority for the city. Lynner, LPCL Bradley campus, one of 241 U.S. soldiers killed in a terrorist attack in Beirut 40 years ago, was honored this past Saturday the 15th with a new memorial at Clark Street Park. Hosted by the Lynn Swampscott Veteran Services, a large crowd gathered to honor campus and all those killed.
Battles in the air, on land and the sea.
At around 6:20 a.m. on 23 October, a yellow Mercedes-Benz truck drove to Beirut International Airport, where the 1st Battalion, 8th Marine, 2nd Marine Division had set up its local headquarters. The driver then accelerated, crashed through the gate, drove into the lobby of the Marine headquarters. The force of the explosion initially lifted the entire 4-story building, shearing the base of the concrete columns and airborne until it fell to the ground.
We were all immediately put on combat alert, all on a post for 4 days, waiting on an imminent attack, which didn't occur to us. On the 5th day, we were relieved, and we were allowed to make phone calls home. My parents were fortunate to get that phone call. 241 other families never got that call.
We must say their names. That is why we are here today, to honor and remember the fallen and to recognize Lynn's own Lance Corporal Bradley campus.
This monument has an incredible meaning for the city, and it's a beautiful testament to the gratitude that our city, that our nation should have for Bradley campus's sacrifice. That what gives this monument meaning is the sacrifice.
I first met Brad in 9th grade. Our sisters were classmates and friends. And one thing I noticed about Brad right away was how mature he was for 14 years old.
Our family is beyond humbled by the number of people who have worked tirelessly to bring this all together. At the time of the bombing, my mother Brenda, Brad's sister, was 6 months pregnant with me. As I grew older and began learning about my family and my roots, I learned about what happened in Beirut and what happened to my uncle. This attack marked the deadliest single-day death toll for the U.S. Marine Corps since the Battle of Iwo Jima, and also what many called the start of the global war on terrorism. Our people went in peace to keep the peace. It is our responsibility and our duty to never forget and to ensure that his legacy and sacrifice is remembered and honored for generations to come.
Of the brave.
The City Council unanimously approved a new ordinance requiring 24-hour restaurants to have video surveillance. Public safety is the #1 concern, as the ordinance comes in response to a shooting of a 16-year-old at a Wendy's on Boston Street earlier this year. It was met with resistance from several individuals and organizations, including the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts and Lynn United for Change. They argue it places a financial burden on businesses, as they are the ones who have to purchase and maintain the equipment. Another major concern was for the immigration community if ICE determined the footage be handed over, as well as further diminishing trust between law enforcement and those in the community who are already afraid of being racially profiled or deported. Several councilors and the mayor spoke in support of the ordinance, viewing it as a step forward for public safety procedures in the city and assisting the police in investigations. UMass Boston, in collaboration with Lynn Museum Lynn Arts, hosted a 90th anniversary celebration and digitalization event for Local 210. With roots spanning back to the 1930s, members were invited to come see the new exhibit and bring items and stories to be recorded and preserved in a digital archive.
The history of Local 201 is in many ways the history of the labor movement in the 20th century. And we should note, particularly the work of workers and organizers in 201 helped to shape that history. So, the union was founded 90 years ago as an independent industrial union, the first of its kind within General Electric. They're the first to be recognized by the state of Massachusetts as such. They're also the first to win any kind of concessions from GE, even before there's a UE or an IUE. And then this local becomes one of the founding locals of the UE, which is one of the founding unions of the CIO.
And like many unions, much of the history of Local 201 or any union is contained in the memories of its individual members. So we're doing a process that's called participatory archiving, where we invite people who are connected to the history of the union, either from working for GE or other industries, other companies, and being members of the union, who have personal stories to share about their experiences.
I've been involved with the union about 12 years. I got involved by activists, leadership, and stewards basically saying, come with us.
Well, I got hired in GE about 12 years ago and just about instantly became involved, as Adam had just stated. Coming into a union shop, my first union shop, was absolutely life-changing. It wasn't GE that actually changed my life and provided me the benefits that I have today. It was the union that had fought for those benefits and secured those benefits through negotiations and collective bargaining. So that's one of the main importances of having a union is your right to bargain. And one of the other major aspects is the longevity of having a career.
Jobs in this country are a dictatorship of the boss. They get to decide everything. And having a union lets you have a voice, lets you fight for better wages, better conditions.
And they're bringing their items, photographs, buttons, flyers, other documents, and we are giving them an opportunity to describe what they are and why they're important to them in their own words. And then we're making copies and we're adding them to a digital archive.
And so this kind of seismic movement that transforms the nation in the 30s has some really important origins right here in Lynn.
This past Tuesday, the 17th, a ceremony was held in the City Council chambers to promote 4 members of the Lynn Fire Department. Mario Lopez became a lieutenant, Kevin Wilkins gained the role of captain, Thomas Hines stepped into the role of district chief, and Roger Alley was named deputy chief. Surrounded by their family and friends, each member took turns stepping forward to recite their oath before being congratulated by Mayor Jared Nicholson and Fire Chief Dan Sullivan, who took over the role earlier this year in January. The cloudy weather did not deter the community coming together for the 43rd annual My Brother's Table Walk. Begun as a fundraiser and way to fight hunger, this year was particularly impactful as they served their 7 millionth meal earlier this year.
Today is our 42nd annual walk. It might be the 43rd because we started before the table started. And this raises money for My Brother's Table. And the reason we have fundraisers like this is because My Brother's Table is a hospitality-based charity, which means we let anybody who wants to come in and get a free meal. And because of that, we don't seek or accept any kind of government money. So fundraisers like this are how we fund our program. So the walk is, it's a combination of individuals who are walking, and then we have a lot of groups that are walking. We have some businesses like Duffy Insurance that are local to Lynn, and a lot of the local schools. I know Swampscott's here, St. Mary's is here, Pickering, and they actually bring a lot of folks and raise a lot of money for us.
Can you explain the significance of this one, like 7 million meals?
In the first 36 years of the table's history, we served about 3.5 million meals. Since the pandemic, we've averaged almost 1 million meals a year. So now we're at 7 million and counting. I think I did the count last week and we're at like 7.2 million. And those are meals that go out to the community. For the most part, people come into the table and pick up their meals. But we also provide meals for people that are homebound. We provide meals for the medical respite. We provide meals for families that are in hotel motels that are sheltering there. So we have a lot of little off-site meals as well. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I know the weather isn't perfect. I don't think we've ever had perfect weather for this walk, but there's a lot of people here and a lot of dogs, and it's a perfect day to not only raise money, but kind of celebrate the community coming together to fight hunger.
LCTV created a short highlighting the Fabric of the Community project being done by the Lynn Public Arts Commission. Boxes up and down Boston Street were decorated by local artists. Take a look.
The Lynn Public Arts Commission had put out a proposal for artists to create boxes based on cultural fabrics that they found important to them. And they wanted to be representative of like the different sort of cultural groups that you would find, in Lynn.
One of my goals is to try and beautify the city any which way I can, and my biggest strengths are in art.
My box is called Celtic Nations. I'm originally from France, and the region that I'm from is Brittany, and it's the Celtic nations. Our heritage, arts, music, our culture is very strong. So I wanted something about the Six Nations because some of them are well known, some other are not.
My proposal was based on Dutch fabrics. My father's from the Netherlands. A lot of what they brought were handmade tapestries and just different fabric pieces. And so I have a lot of memories of cross-stitch and my Oma making cross-stitch.
The main picture, which shows High Rock Tower, which for me is the symbol of Lynn, and I put it in a treasure chest with gold coins around it to show that Lynn is precious. And then the other part, I grabbed designs from African materials, specifically from Zimbabwe. In the city of Lynn, there's very little representing the continent of Africa, and this changes that.
Basically, it's two symbols in the front, and it symbolizes a connection between earth, water, and air, and the six flags on the side and the map on the back.
The utility box was going to be here no matter what, and so being able to have something maybe a little bit nicer to look at than just a shiny metal box or a gray painted box, hopefully brings somebody some joy.
When people walk by, they actually notice it and they look at it. Prior to that, they just go on by.
I think it's beautiful for people to discover that this would be unnoticed, and I've seen people passing by, and it's going to make people stop and think and ask themselves questions.
It's allowing access to everybody to have, beautiful pieces within their city, and I think it does create a lot of pride in people in their city.
People are really happy, and they feel a connection to the box, and they constantly tell me, thank you for doing this, thank you for making this spot and this box more beautiful.
So art is so important. The way I look at life for me is in black and white. It's the color that actually make life worth living. So there are certain things that are needed to make life possible, food, air, etc. But once you get all of that, it's the art and the culture that brings the color and makes life worth living.
The community is welcome to visit any of the boxes listed below to see other pieces of art, part of the Public Art Commission's Fabric of the Community series.
The Healy-Driscoll administration announced $5.4 million in grants as part of the state's initiative in roadway safety. Lynn is among the recipients, with the police department getting just under $59,000. This funding comes from the fiscal year 2024 Municipal Road Safety Grant Program and will be used to address the unique needs of each municipality. This includes investments in road safety equipment, educational campaigns about road safety, and community traffic safety programs. On Wednesday the 18th, the Pickering Middle School Building Committee voted to approve the submission of a schematic design packet to the Massachusetts School Building Authority. The design, which is more than 1,000 pages in length, outlines everything about the project, from cost estimates to floor plans. According to Left Field and Raymond Design Associates, two firms working on the project, there will continue to be alterations as designers keep working on the final layout. Currently, the focus is determining the materials needed and possible ways to break up such a large building. The cost was knocked down to $170 million from the original $200 million, with the MSBA expected to submit the designs by October 26th and receive approval by December. Lynn Lab Inc. and Lab Center Ignite came together to co-sponsor What the Heck is Biotech, a workshop for young adults to teach them about biotechnology. The hope is that by teaching young people more about it, they may find an interest in fields related to biotech. Here is more.
My name is Don Pinkerton. I'm the founder of Lynn Lab Inc., which is a new STEM resource for the city of Lynn. And we're here tonight at North Shore Community College. We're co-sponsoring an event called What the Heck is Biotech, and I'm here with my friend Brian Madrigal, who's a co-sponsor from Lab Central Ignite. We're also working with Mass Bioed Foundation and the North Shore Community College. This is all part of Mass STEM Week, so we're here tonight to talk to folks about what biotech is, to do a couple of lab activities, and have some fun.
I hope that there's curiosity and imagination sparks where they can either see themselves working in biotech or just more curious about the industry. These events work as an early touch point to spark an interest, and then we provide resources through our Life Sciences in Full Color campaign website where they have access to applying to apprenticeship, internships, etc.
Of course, North Shore Community College is an integral part of the Lynn community in terms of education. They're a great partner to have. Of course, they have facilities. They also have a biotech program here. At Lynn Lab, we're really trying to introduce people of the city to the opportunities that are available in this field. Right now, we're showing up at pop-ups, pop-up science activities throughout the city, and we hope to have a lab space in the next year or so, but North Shore Community College is really a great partner to have in this.
Later on the 17th, a Hispanic Heritage Month flag parade and flag raising took place. Dozens of people came out for a short walk around Lynn Common, displaying flags of Hispanic countries before returning to City Hall for a flag raising and speaker series.
may not always be obvious about how celebrating our differences brings us all together, but you can see, particularly thinking about the Hispanic community and the flags, to see how people are able to reach into their cultures and share and think about what that means to unite folks across identities.
As your city's diversity, equity, inclusion officer, it's with a lot of pride that we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. We are a city of immigrants, not only Latino immigrants, but we have immigrants from all around the world who have found refuge in the city of Lynn because we're very welcoming and the beautiful sort of diversity that we all share.
Me gustaría tomar un poquito de tiempo para explicarle un poco de mi historia, que es una historia de migrantes, como muchos de ustedes que están aquí. Mi nombre es Sergio Espinosa. Yo llegué a este país en el 1991, en marzo de 1991, a Hartford, Connecticut. Yo vine aquí con mi familia desde Perú en 1991 y llegué a los 4 años. Honestamente, ese viaje vino con mucho ignorancia de lo que estábamos haciendo. I found a sense of community here, and not only that, but I found a very supportive environment through the North Shore Latino Business Association as well, and the city of Lynn, who supported me on my entrepreneurial journey.
Hispanics and Latinos play and shape the future of our country and the world. We celebrate and recognize Hispanics and Latinos as employees, suppliers, consumers, and community leaders. We can be seen, heard, and valued, and are more likely to engage with individuals or organizations that actively invested and celebrate their contributions to America, which are driving prosperity, power, and progress. Now, therefore, I, Jared Nicholson, Mayor of the City of Lynn, hereby proclaim September 15th or October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Latino Heritage Month.
On deck, the sports update. In a shootout at Manning Field on Friday, Salem came away with a victory over Lynn Classical for the first time in 19 years. A 48-44 final saw both quarterbacks throw multi-touchdown games, including 5 by Classical's Brian Vaughn Jr. The Rams took the lead with just over 3 minutes remaining, but a 23-yard toe-tap catch in the end zone gave the Witches the eventual victory. It was a controversial call, as Classical coach Vaughn Sr. believed the receiver was out of bounds, but in the end, Salem stood as the victor. St. Mary's remains hot after their close victory last week, taking down Arlington Catholic 45-8 at home. The Spartans controlled the entire game, scoring 38 unanswered points in the first half. Only 4 plays were needed to score their first touchdown, and it was full speed ahead for the Blue and Golds. The defense also contributed their fair share of points, taking 2 interceptions to the house. A 14-7 loss to Lowell Catholic was an unexpected outcome for Tech, as they had all the momentum in the fourth quarter. A 48-yard strike by Jadel Ortega to Ethan Prum with 10 minutes remaining looked to be the game winner, but Catholic responded with a score of their own and picked off Ortega in the final minute to seal the game. Sporting breast cancer awareness jerseys, KIPP took down Greater Lowell 18-7 under the lights. Quarterback Chanel Gutierrez recorded 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air and the 3rd with his legs. English put up a fight against Malden Catholic, but ultimately fell 21-14. The Golden Tornadoes had the advantage early in the game, scoring first, and the Bulldogs were unable to get themselves out of the early deficit. 2 fumbles hurt them, including one on their own 5-yard line. St. Mary's boys soccer are no longer perfect, as their team suffered their first loss of the season at the hands of Bishop Feehan 1-0. They did bounce back with 1-0 and 7-0 victories, first against Central Catholic, then completing a season sweep of Bishop Fenwick in commanding fashion. Their girls team blanked Fenwick 2-0 and are now 1 win away from qualifying for the state tournament. Lynn Tech girls split the difference when Burke scored with less than a minute remaining for the 2-2 tie. Their boys team dominated Lawrence as 7 different goal scorers contributed to a 9-1 win. Classical girls was defeated 3-1 by Winthrop, but scraped out a 1-0 victory over Malden. KIPP boys moved to 8-5-3, beating Innovation Tech 4-2 off a hat trick by Gelder de Leon, while English and Everett tied 1-1. Cross country pitted inner-city rivals classical and English against one another as the Bulldogs ran away with victories in both the boys and girls competitions, while the Spartans traveled south to Cape Cod for the annual Massachusetts State Track Coaches Association Bob Glennon Twilight Invitational. Several athletes on the 36-person roster ran season or personal bests, including Kyle Kwiatek, who medaled in the boys' varsity race. The Lynn volleyball tournament was this past weekend. English beat Tech in the consolation game 3-2. The championship match saw St. Mary's take down the Rams to earn the 2023 championship title. Lorness Suriel was named the MVP, recording 7 kills, 6 digs, 7 aces, 11 service points, and 23 assists. In the regular season, Tech blanked Notre Dame 3-0, moving to 10-4 and qualifying for the state tournament. St. Mary's blanked Cathedral 3-0 and are 1 win away from qualifying for states. KIPP also had themselves a night, winning 3-0 over Pioneer Charter. For the first time in my 24 years, the Patriots have dropped to 1-5. The last time this happened was back in 1995, when they finished the season at 6-10. This feels optimistic for a team that had a chance to win their latest game against the Raiders, but saw Pats QB Mac Jones get sacked in the end zone for a safety in the 21-17 final. Coming off a disappointing offseason, the Bruins are starting this year 3-0 with several new faces, beating the Chicago Blackhawks 3-1, the Florida Panthers 3-2, and most recently the San Jose Sharks 3-1 on the road. The Recovery Exchange, which opened a few months ago in downtown Lynn, came on the Lowdown to shed light on the importance of support and community during recovery, explaining how recovery is a lifelong process and their goals for the new center. Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on 2 members from the Recovery Exchange, recently opened in Lynn. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And so first question is an easy one. Could you just introduce yourselves and say your roles within the center?
Okay. My name is Kim Patterson. I'm the program director.
My name is LaDon Rogers. I am the peer coordinator at the Recovery Exchange.
So, Recovery Exchange just opened in Lynn, so would you be able to say a little bit about what your main goal is with the center, your main purpose?
Well, our main purpose is to help people who are recovering from substance use disorder to become stable, gain hope, learn how to operate in the community, and sustain long-term recovery and fulfill a fulfilling life.
And would you both be able to say a little bit about what you do in your specific roles?
Okay. As program director, what I do basically is a lot of the more administrative stuff. The center is designed so that it's member-orientated and member-driven, so the members will tell us we want certain activities or certain events and that kind of stuff. And as the program director, I make sure that all supplies are needed, whatever's needed for the event is purchased, everything's in place so that the event can happen and go smoothly.
And my role is to guide the members and volunteers through groups, activities, events, so they can eventually take charge and run the center. We'll just be there, the staff will be there just to facilitate them at one point.
So the ultimate goal is the members really are running it, are in charge, and you're there as assistants if they need it, but you more like background.
Yes.
Yes. And like the peer coordinators, they help motivate the members.
Right.
Like we had one member come in who was very quiet, didn't want to talk very much, and now he's like the most talkative. So we kind of give them the encouragement, the peer coordinators give them the encouragement they need to find their confidence and the motivation to get active and kind of believe in themselves.
And in recovery, why would you say having that community aspect is such an important thing?
For me, I always say that recovery addiction is very isolating. So one of the hallmarks of addiction is extreme loneliness and isolation. And for me, recovery and the road to recovery comes with being connected in community. So we offer them that sense of connection and a community. So at the center, they learn to be a part of a smaller community, and they build the skills they need necessary to become a part of the larger and function in the larger community.
And you offer a wide variety of events. You do social events, you have meetings, meditation, you know. So how did that come about? Was that all members suggesting it? Was that partially you?
That was, in the beginning, it was staff and a couple of members that were there. And then as we're growing, the members are taking charge, the volunteers come in too and volunteer to help the members, and we make it happen.
And how could people get involved if they're interested, like as volunteer role, let's say?
As a volunteer role, generally just come down to the center, get a feel of the center, what activities are there. If people have a specific strength, say like somebody's real good with financial budgeting and they're willing to volunteer and do a group on finances and budgeting, and the members are saying, yeah, we need to learn about that, then we would let them come in once a week or however often they want to, and the members agree to facilitate that group and teach them the financial skills necessary.
That would be a good class. I would take that class.
Me too.
And what would you say for someone who's maybe they're in recovery, but they might be nervous about coming into a center or going in? What would you sort of say to someone like that?
I would say come in, feel it out, and I promise you that you'll come back. It's a good vibe. We're all welcoming. We're all doing this together. And yeah, that's my suggestion. It's just come and try it out.
And you just did a big event in Boston, a big march for Recovery Month. Did you want to talk about that?
Yes, that was, it was actually Moore's event. It was Moore is the mass organization of recovery and addictions. And September was Recovery Month, so everybody everywhere was doing some special event, and that was theirs. And they do it every year. It was the 33rd. Michelle Wu was there, Governor Healy was there. So it's a way to get the legislator and put awareness and take the focus off of the addiction part and put it on the recovery part, and make funding available to assist people the same way funding's available for diabetes and cancer and all those other ailments, to recognize it as an ailment that needs treatment, and making funding available so that people that are suffering can easily access treatment in a variety of ways. So it's almost like they call it the recovery movement, you know, and it's really exciting to be a part of that, because you realize I got into recovery. I'm a person with long-term recovery, and initially it was just about getting myself and my life together for my kids and my family. But now, with many years in this process, it's about making sure that those people coming behind us have a streamline of services that will ease their road to recovery and be really supportive in helping them to get the help and confidence they need to sustain long-term recovery.
That's a huge piece of it. As you said, it's an ailment. It's something that people need resources, funding, not any kind of judgment that could come from it. So why would you say that having a center in Lynn is so important?
Because the addiction is very noticeable in Lynn, and it has been for a long time. And there is a lot of resources in Lynn. And putting a center where people can come in and work with other people from the community is very needed, just like other things is needed. But we do have places in Lynn Community Health, and we have sober living. So like, this is something that we needed.
And this was
in process for quite a long time. You mentioned it even before we came on, that it began before COVID, then there was COVID, and then you were able to get back into it.
Yes, yes.
So how did that process go?
So actually my boss, Athena, had spoken to me, I think in like early 2019, and she was going to collaborate on it, and they were trying to locate a building, and then COVID came, and everything shut down, so it kind of got paused, and she came to me maybe a year and a half ago, a little more than a year ago, and she said the guy that she was collaborating with had retired or moved on, I'm not sure. But she was offered his position, and she was very excited to get into it. She said, one of the first things I'm gonna do is locate a place in Lynn. And I think the Lynn community itself, like people that work in the field of recovery, had been waiting for this for a long time. So she moved swiftly, and she located a place, and they gutted the place and did all the work and got it up and running within a year's time, so.
That's impressive. And then when did you get hired? You said in June of this year?
I got hired in June of this year, yep.
So just around when you officially opened to the public?
Yes. Our official opening date for people to come into the center was June 12th.
You said that was even a bigger event than you expected to say.
Yeah.
I remember I went to that, and it's incredible to see the support, the camaraderie around it, and it's so positive.
Yeah. Our grand opening was especially, it was overwhelming, but it was overwhelming in a good way because of all the support that we got from the state representatives, from City Hall, from all of the people that work in the field of recovery. It was, or even like I worked for another agency that works with the homeless, but even they came in support because they often find people in homeless shelters that have substance use disorder and don't have a resource or a treatment, and to keep them on track towards getting housing and maintaining their children and their family, they need a place to go where they can build those skills. So it was very exciting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was an amazing event, and I have to wrap up in a moment, but was there anything else that I didn't mention that you wanted to talk about in regards to the center?
I just want to say the center is open, and it's there for anybody who's seeking recovery, whether it's your first day, maybe you're not quite clean yet, but you want to get clean and you want to know more about it, just come in, get the feel, talk to the staff, and we can offer you whatever direction and whatever pathway you choose. We support all pathways of recovery. No one way is fit for any one person. Everybody has a different mode. And just come in and give it a try. So that's it.
That sounds so great. And thank you again for coming on and talk about it and really spread the awareness.
Yes, and thank you for the offer.
You're very welcome anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Now, the community calendar. October 24th at 6 p.m., Lynn is again hosting Halloween at City Hall. City departments will have a table decorating contest, and you get to choose the winner. There will be arts and crafts, goodie bags, and other kid-friendly activities. The Lynn Museum is hosting a trick-or-treat event for their last Final Friday event of 2023 on the 27th. Head down to Frederick Douglass Park from 5 to 8 p.m. for games, candy apples, and a live score from an old silent film. Next Saturday, the 28th, there will be a fall festival put on by the First Church of the Nazarene. Located at 233 Eastern Ave, there will be hot apple cider, arts and crafts, a gift basket raffle, and several community resources. Stop by between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. for an afternoon of fall fun. That is all the news for this week.
For more information on these and other events, including our election coverage and recent forums, visit lyntv.org. Also, subscribe to Lynn Community Television on YouTube for staff and member content, including event coverage and interviews. And follow @Lynn Community Television for breaking news and press releases. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.